I hope you have stocked up on your off-body spray because these insects are nasty. Stay out of their woods. Tune in to find out why. Honestly, I don't know if they're the best unit, but I think the unit that you're here to see is the new Knights. The Spite Rider Lances are probably one of the coolest things we've seen out of Sylvaneth in a very long time. We saw kind of that buggy addition with the Revenant, and now we're getting it again. We've got flying archers, but we've also got knights riding on the back of giant insects, and they look like wild hunters, which are amazing because I loved the wild hunters when I used to play Wood Elves, and they kind of had that like fey aesthetic of like not quite being elves, kind of being forest spirits, and that's exactly what the Lancers are. And they're really good. When they charge, they get to strike first. They don't care what you have. They have the always strike first rule. They're gonna run you over, and when they hit you, you probably won't survive because they hit really, really hard, and they hit a lot. Combine that with any of the buffing spells, combine that with being near an awakened wildwood, combine that with the ability to teleport them off the battlefield and yoink them somewhere else where your opponent does not want them, and they're just kind of going to change the game. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to get attacked by giant insects coming out of the woods. I saw Nausicaa. My favorite combo, or the best combo I think, is the same combo that we've had before, the Arch Revenant Coronoth Hunters combo, because Arch Revenants still buffing Coronoth Hunters, still making them nasty, and I think the case can still be made for Arch Revenant buffing some Coronoth Hunters with bows, and then another Arch Revenant with your melee Coronoth Hunters to just wreck face on the battlefield. And yes, you're going to want to have your Spite Rider Lances, and yes, Coronoth Hunters can't be your battle line, so you're going to have to fill it with something, but take 2 men units of Spite Revenants, send them in the back. They don't have to do anything. Let your trees take care of it. Let Sturthu take care of it. Your Coronoth Hunters, backed up by an Arch Revenant, especially if you have a Warsong Revenant nearby, or the Lady of Vines. And one of the biggest changes we've seen with this new edition, which we've seen with everything that has them, is Subfactions. Your Subfactions have been dramatically reduced, and they really don't do what they used to do anymore, which is fine, because another thing you get is now you get to decide what season you're playing in. So, thought you were playing with Forest Spirit? Surprise! It's Eladrin! That's for my D&D fans. You get to decide what season you're playing in, and what season you play in will do different things. And what season you're playing in will affect different units differently. For example, if you're playing Winterbloom, the ice-themed subfaction, and you decide to play in winter, you get extra effects. You get to do interesting things. Whereas if you're playing with one of the more autumnal, or things like that. Different things for different people. And you'll have Spite Revenants that are still doing good in the scary subfaction. You have your Tree Lords that are still doing good in the Oakenbrow. Everything that's happening is pretty much the same, just been reduced. The only exception is winter. The winter subfaction has changed dramatically. It slows people down now. It's more about affecting their movement and affecting their ability to hurt you than it is about exploding into fury and rage and shooting shards of ice out, which, I'll admit, I miss. That was cool. But slowing people down and having the permafrost kind of form on their body is just so thematic and cool. And I think that that really shows itself in this new book. I feel like Sylvaneth have always done solidly well in the meta right around the middle, and I think that's kind of where they're going to stay. Yes, you've got a few powerful units, but because you have powerful units, Games Workshop told you have powerful units, everyone's going to know you have powerful units. That's what they're going to go for first, and if you take my terrible advice to only have a few Spite Revenants, and your Lancers get wiped out, it's going to be hard for you to keep up, especially with all of this focus on hordes. Now, on the other side of that, the reason I say you're mid-range instead of low tier is because they have a lot of hordes of infantry, and if you hit them with a giant tree, or you hit them with your flying bug riders, or you snipe them with your Gossamed archers, their hordes aren't going to do anything to you. And with your ability to teleport around from wildwood to wildwood and summon new wildwoods, is amazing. You're going to have the most board control of almost anyone with the exception of maybe Caradron Overlords, who can just go wherever they want. You are unfortunately confined by the forest, but you can put the forest wherever you want. I think that the Sylvaneth are coming into their own. I think they're finally getting what I think people wanted for them, what they've always needed. They were never bad, but they weren't great. And now I think they've really found like a solid stride where you don't have to take L'Oreal to win. You still should. She's still amazing, but you don't have to. You could play around with the Cronoth. You can play around with the different Revenants. You can bring some of the Warcry factions in. Whatever you feel like doing, Sylvaneth are going to let you do it, and they're going to let you do it thematically, because if you play a game and you're like, wow, winter doesn't fit me, next game you play, try summer, spring. You might find something you like. If you want to find out more and see these incredible new minis that the Sylvaneth are getting, check out our unboxing of the Echoes of Doom Battle Box, where these new insectoid Sylvaneth tried to take on a Skaven assassin. Check it out right here. I'm Clint with Bowles. Y'all have a great day.